first game on the docket for this in the Southwestern Conference. Olmsted Falls with a big victory over Avon Lake. This one finished in overtime. It was 21-20. Olmsted Falls comes out on top. They are now 8-1 overall, 7-1 in the conference. Avon Lake, big loss there, drops to 6-3. 5-3 overall in the conference. Olmsted Falls continues to roll by beating Avon Lake on the road 21-20 in overtime. Luke Lombardo and Jack Spellisy both score touchdowns for the Bulldogs, who continue to lead the offense. Michael Howard also had an 83-yard kickoff return in this game. For Avon Lake, their defense held the Bulldogs to 280 yards of total offense, which, we've seen Olmsted Falls twice this year. That's a pretty big feat that they have accomplished. Quarterback Jake McCulloch scored twice for the Shoremen. Connor Riggs scored to cut the lead to 1 in overtime, but Avon Lake went for 2 and the win. McCulloch's pass went high over everyone's head, and Olmsted Falls escaped with a 1-point win. So Avon Lake was really going for it all in that one. Give them credits for the guts, but it didn't end up in the glory as they fall in this one. Olmsted Falls, again, improves to 8-1, and they clinched the playoff berth in Division II, Region 6. Right now they are set at number 3. They will take on North Olmsted in a rivalry game this coming Friday. Avon Lake falls to 6-3. They are ranked 13th, according to Joe Itel, in Division II, Region 6. They will host Midview. Moving on, Westlake was looking to get their first victory, but it did not happen in Week 9 as they fall 36-30 to North Ridgeville. North Ridgeville improves to 2-7 on the year, 2-6 in the conference. Westlake drops to 0-9, 0-8 in the conference. Shamar Williams led North Ridgeville with 5 touchdowns on the night. Westlake led in the third quarter of this game, 30-17. The Demons were led by Jacob May, who was making his first start at quarterback. He totaled 148 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also chipped in 16 carries for 122 yards. J.J. Coleman led the Demon rushing attack, which he ran for over 300 yards in the game by running it. I'm sorry, the team ran for over 300 yards rushing for the game. J.J. Coleman had rushed the ball 32 times for 162 yards. North Ridgeville fought back with a great ground game as well. In the end, it was running back Shamari Williams who ran it in from 3 yards out to give the Rangers a 36-30 win in a shootout. Once again, the Rangers improved to 2-7. Westlake drops to 0-9. Both teams are out of playoff contention, but in the region, according to Joe Itel, North Ridgeville is number 19, and Westlake is tied for 26th in the region. Berea Mid-Park, their offense came out to play in this game. 63-7 victory over North Olmsted. Berea Mid-Park improves to 4-5 on the season. North Olmsted drops to 4-5. Berea Mid-Park, they got back onto their winning ways with this big victory. Trevor Pazinski, again, putting up big numbers. Berea Mid-Park was up 49-7 at halftime. Pazinski finished with, on the night, 256 yards, 5 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns were to junior Garrett Waite. Pazinski also ran for 34 yards on 5 carries, scoring 3 touchdowns on the ground. Berea Mid-Park again improves to 4-5. They are number 16 in Division I, Region 1, out of playoff contention. North Olmsted falls to 4-5. They are number 15 in Division II, Region 6. They are also out of playoff contention. Midview comes through with a victory over Lakewood. They improved to 7-2. Lakewood drops to 1-8. Midview with a 51-10 victory. Midview keeps its playoff hopes alive. They are currently number 6 in the Joe Itel rankings. Midview was effective running the ball with Connor Wolf and passing with Rob's main man, Seamus Higley, connecting with Alonzo Banks early on. Lakewood scored on Attila Nagy 38-yard field goal, cutting the lead to 17-3. Lakewood would get no closer than that, however. Lakewood's only touchdown came on a Milan Jackson touchdown run late in the second half. Turnovers big in Midview's win as they go on to win 51-10. Again, they are ranked number 6 in Division II, Region 6. They will finish the season as they travel to Avon Lake. Lakewood falls to 1-8. They will take a trip to North Ridgeville. And then the other game that happened in the Southwestern Conference is our game of the week. Amherst traveled to Avon. We'll talk about that later on in the next segment. So,
take a breath.
Whew, kind of par for the course for the Southwestern League. No big Southwestern Conference. No big surprises on that one. You know, if you look at some of the games, Olmsted Falls continues their hot streak, having a heck of a year. Coach DeLuca's got that team running on all cylinders now. Well, the last game we saw them at, they had a big victory against Midview. Westlake, again, continuing with their struggling season. North Ridgeville, though, getting a couple wins here late in the season. You know, Ed, you were talking about, you know, the building blocks for next season. If you're not in playoff contention, you want to build for next year. And that's what teams like Brunswick, Strongsville and even North Ridgeville, even though they only have 2 wins on the season, it's still nice to get some wins late in the season because that just leads a nice taste in the mouth going into the off season. I'm trying to get there.
If you look at North Ridgeville, they've played very competitively since week 5. I mean, they took Olmsted Falls to the limit, 42-35 loss. They played tough against Avon Lake, 24-7. You know, you could call an upset over North Olmsted in overtime. Mm-hmm. They gave Avon all they can handle. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've given Avon their best game so far.
Yeah,
and you know, they were a couple plays away from pulling a huge upset there, and they beat an 0-9 but a very tough Westlake team.
Yeah,
you know, so definitely nothing to take for granted. You know, North Ridgeville is one of those teams that you probably don't want to see right now. Mm-hmm. If you're in playoff contention, I mean, I don't think Avon saw that coming. As to what happened in that game. You know, both Lakewood and North Ridgeville will be looking to propel their 2018 season, mm-hmm. try to get that last win of the year, as you said, Josh, to end on a good note and to give yourself some momentum going into the offseason. You know, North Ridgeville could potentially be 3-7. Lakewood can potentially be 2-8.
Yeah.
You know, and seasons they obviously would like to have had a better success on, but nonetheless, I think North Ridgeville is playing their best ball of the year right now.
Yeah, right. And, you know, when you talk about building blocks, we're looking at Berea Mid-Park. You know, we have some connections with them. They had a tough stretch in the season there. They lost 4 in a row, but they came back. The offense came back. 63-7 win over North Olmsted. Their last game is against the conference class in Avon. You know, Avon, we'll talk about a little bit more. They had a victory over Amherst Steel. They are 9-0. Now, you know, Berea Mid-Park's a kind of team that can score a lot of points and quickly. And Avon, you know, can't be thinking about the playoffs. You know, they got to get through this game if they want to complete their season. That's going to be a game to watch looking in the Southwestern Conference this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Southwestern Conference, and it's well represented, especially in Division II Region 6. I mean, Avon sits atop there. You got Olmsted Falls in there. You got Midview. So you got 3 of the cream of the crop teams. You know, some of the teams on the outside looking in, obviously Avon Lake is in the 13th position. Amherst is in the 10th position as of right now. Again, we'll go over the results of that Avon-Amherst Steel game in a couple segments. But, you know, it's kind of a stark contrast to last year. Do you remember last year at this time, it looked like the Southwestern Conference was just realigning itself in this division,
right,
and the parity was very good. And now we're seeing, okay, this year is more of a return to normalcy, I think, in teams like Avon, Olmsted Falls, and Midview, who are, you know, traditionally around the playoffs most of the time. Not a lot of surprises coming out. Not a lot of Westlakes, not an Avon Lake surge that we saw last year getting into the 8th. I don't think they have, you know, a realistic shot to go from 13 to 8. They're not mathematically eliminated according to Joe Eitel, but you know they're not, as Ed so eloquently put in the last segment regarding Brunswick. A lot has to go their way. Same thing with Amherst Steel. A lot has to go their way. All the chips need to fall into place, and unfortunately, it just doesn't look that good. So looking at the playoff picture from the Southwestern Conference, I mean, this is for Avon. You're right. They have to take care of business. They cannot look past Berea Mid-Park in Week 10 because John Hunig will have his team in spoiler mode. And,
for sure.
And I believe that's an away game. So they're coming into what do they call it? Yellow Jacket Stadium?
Finney.
Stadium. Sorry. And that's their home, and they're going to defend their home. That's senior night. Trevor Baczynski is, I think, going to make a lot of noise next year as a junior. He's a sophomore this year, correct?
No, his twin brother is is a sophomore.
He's a junior.
Trevor is a junior, so he's going into his senior year.
So he's going into his senior year, with a lot of those weapons coming back.
Right.
This, again, and as you mentioned, the building blocks. Okay, this season, not great. Not what we wanted. But again, they had opportunities. They ran into a buzzsaw because they had to play Avon Lake, Olmsted Falls, Midview all in a row. And they weren't able to, that's a tough stretch for any team that's trying to, establish a dominance in that league. So, again, the Southwestern Conference is a meat grinder, but it prepares teams to come in and play in the playoff games because every game is a playoff game.
I'm looking at it right now, looking at the conference playoffs. If they were to start today, big matchup, and that's Southwestern Conference, number 3 Olmsted Falls against number 6 Midview, a rematch.
Yeah, that'll be a rematch of the first round last year.
Yeah,
that Olmsted Falls was able to get.
Yeah, and I tell you what, seeing Olmsted Falls a couple times this year up close, seeing what DeLuca and that coaching staff has done, they really got the kids playing well. They're nothing to mess around with. That's a very good football team they got this year. Very exciting to watch as well. So that's one thing we'll keep an eye on definitely as we move past this week, see where it lands.
And it's dangerous because it's very difficult to beat the same team twice.
Right.
Because a lot of things happen in that game that go the other way, and we're talking about a completely different result. So definitely interesting, great stuff from Rob, who's on a yacht drinking Mai Tais, playing Yahtzee, doing whatever he's doing. But he definitely has his finger on the pulse of the Southwestern Conference.
Right. The last thing I want to say about the Southwestern Conference is we talk. This is one of the few conferences where you play 9 conference games. And you saw the toll that it took on these teams because you're only right now you have 2 teams that are already in, a third that's most likely going to be in Midview, but that's it.
Yeah,
I mean that's it. I mean like a lot has to go right for Amherst Steel or Avon Lake to be able to get, or North Olmsted to be able to get into the playoffs. And if I had to bet on it, I would say none of them get in, and that just speaks to the strength of the Southwestern Conference. It may act as a detriment here because you only get 3 teams going in, but it's a testament to that conference in that you can't take a game off. A team like North Ridgeville can come out and get you. A team like Westlake can give you a game.
Mm-hmm.
Amherst Steel could come out of a season that they had last year and put a 5-win year together. How many teams did Amherst beat that put severely damaged playoff spots for some of these other teams?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's that speaks to the overall. I think the overall strength of the conference, and that you definitely can't take any team lightly here in this conference, and it shows in the fact that only 3 teams are most likely going to get in.
Well, gentlemen, good job on that one. Greater Cleveland Conference recaps and Southwestern Conference recaps, all good and done for this week. We look forward to week number 10. Those will be uploaded onto our website. Make sure you log on to our website, sportsontapodcast.com. Tons of good stuff there, including scores, standings. Sean's got keys to the game of the week. He's got his recaps on there, videos, all kinds of good stuff. You can also like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, any other stuff. Subscribe to us on YouTube, all that good stuff. We're going to take a short break. When we get back, we'll go over the Suburban League. My compadres and all that good stuff will be here talking about that. Then we'll go over Game of the Week, and then we'll be back to wrap it up later on, a little bit later on. So stay tuned. You're listening to Sports on Tap, part of the NEO Sports Insiders Network.